The space is there. Gonna start moving. Hey y'all, welcome to my channel. I'm Skylar Reed and I'm excited to get into the song because I'm going to be breaking down the runs and how to sing through this amazing song, Stand Up by Cynthia Erivo from the movie Harriet. Doesn't have too many crazy runs, but there are some that are like, woo, they're kind of challenging. It's very straightforward, but it's so filled with tone, and I want to touch on how to approach these different parts of where she's going with her voice, the different voicing she's using, how to approach it, the tones you should use. So we're going to be focusing in on these things as well as some of the runs that she does. Before we get into the tutorial, I do want to let y'all know that I just released a single called Time of Day this past Friday. So make sure you guys go check that out. It's available on all streaming platforms. I'm really excited. It's the second installment from my upcoming EP. So yeah, the music has been coming, guys. I Am Single came out in December, and now we have a new single, Time of Day, produced by Soul Productions, and there's more music on the way. So stay tuned for all of that. You can check out the visualizers right here on my YouTube channel under my music videos playlist. I've been working with several of my students on this song for the past couple of weeks, so I have gotten really familiar with how to approach it. So I am going to break down some ways to approach this song because it is quite challenging. And if you check out my shorts, you will see me covering this song, really trying to match as much as I can to Cynthia Erivo, because her voice is so crazy and so big and just so dynamic. I really, really love listening to the song. It hasn't gotten old to me yet. So let's start at verse 1. At 28 seconds, she has a run on shoulders. She goes, shoulders. Not too fast of a run, but the notes are da 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 da. Shoulders, da 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 da, weight on my shoulders. And I will point out that she does a lot of pulsing in this song. So pulsing is like when you kind of just hit the same note again or multiple times. So she has bullet in, but she's like waving it in my gun. So there's that. Also, there's also a lot of low notes in this song. So there's a modification that you can do. Bullet in my gun. Do that every time you hit that low note. Every time that note appears, just stay on the note before it. Bullet in my gun. Instead of going, my gun. It's quite low. And it might not be in your range. If it is in your range, you want to make sure you approach it every time the right way. So creating a lot of breath to support and creating space in the back of your throat to give it room. So with the modification and the shoulders run, it would be weight on my shoulders, a bullet in my gun. Like that. And every time you hit those lows, just stay lifted. At 40 seconds, she has a quick little run on head. It's just sending head, da, da, da. Well, I got eyes in the back of my head. She does another pulse on half. Have to run, very smooth, just in case I have to run. So just pointing out that there's a lot of things with this song that I find quite interesting as I've been working through it and teaching it. There's a lot of different tones that she's using, a lot of different, even though the melody is kind of easy right now for the verse, she's still adding things to spice it up a little bit. All right, y'all, if you guys are not following me, make sure that you do to stay up to date with all of my artistry life and my studio happenings. So I have events and programs and classes and just a whole bunch of things. Make sure you guys follow my artist page at I Am Skylar Reed and my studio page at Skylar's Music Studio. Let's get back to the video. At 140, she comes in with kind of like a lean and very small space, very narrow space with early in the morning. Early in the morning. It's like not a lot of space back there. She's kind of focusing on the in and closing in. Early in the morning. She uses a lot of vocal fry throughout, but this section she puts a little bit of vocal fry at the beginning of early. Early in the morning. At 152, the next phrase, very similar in how she's singing it, but there's a run on moving. So she does, gonna stop moving. So she closes in on that in a little bit, like not very spacious. It's kind of like a tone thing that she has going on. Gonna stop moving. So that is da 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 da. Gonna stop moving. I'm gonna hold the I just so you guys can hear it really well. Gonna stop moving. Absolutely love this, how she's approaching this line. I'm wading through muddy waters. So she goes into head voice, but it's kind of belty, it's kind of mixed. So I first want you to focus on getting it in straight head. I'm wading through muddy waters. Focus on just like creating the space and like approaching it, and then try to add the chest. Try to bring it down just a little bit and make it more mixed. I'm wading through muddy waters. And you know, really use the breath to support it. I notice when I sing this song, a lot of the time it doesn't bother me on my throat because I'm not necessarily pushing, unless like the ending maybe, but it's very heady. So make sure you have a nice, clean, clear, beautiful head voice when you sing this. So the bridge is, to me, it's the easiest part, but it's also the hardest part. So if you're just gonna do the bridge like just by itself, it's so easy. It's just head voice. It's just soft head voice. It's like, she's not even trying. But the challenge, what I've learned with like working on covering it, is that once you do all of this stuff building up to this bridge part, it is hard to get into that head voice. It's hard to like catch your breath and be like, okay, I'm gonna relax and I'm gonna be soft. That can be challenging. But I love that about the song because it's so dynamic, and we haven't even got to the modulations part yet. First, let's do it on a lip trill, and then we're gonna sing it on knee. Lip trill creates the space that you need for head voice. You can't close your throat when you do a lip trill. Really try to do the lip trill. If you can't, hum the best you can with the open throat. With knee, it's a nasal consonant, so it'll really help us with the placement of everything. On the lip trill, let's start with the and I know. Ready? So that last note's kind of high to hit on that lip trill, but let's do it on a knee this time. And I'll go over the run after we kind of get through this approach. So, knee, 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 knee. So we're gonna break down the run in a second. Let's do it with the words really quick. Focus on where that felt for the knee. I feel like the air is floating right under my soft palate, floating right under the roof of my mouth. Of course, there's tons of space in the back of my throat, so focus on that. All right, so we're gonna do it with the words. And I know what's around the bend might be hard to face 'cause I'm alone. And I just fell. Lord knows I've tried. So the stars fill up the sky. Stand. And then she goes, that's hard too, transitioning back into chest. Okay, so that was more on the falsetto side. If you need to cheat and do more falsetto, go for it. Do what works for you. But her voicing is straight pure head voice. It's just a very soft dynamic. It's piano. So let's do that again. And I know what's around the bend might be hard to face 'cause I'm alone. And I might just fail, but Lord knows I've tried. Sure as stars fill up the sky. If you warm up your voice really good and you're clear of all things in your throat, it should come out really pure, really seamless, really heady, not really falsetto-y at all. It's very just soft head voice. Because falsetto is airy, right? So it's not, and I know what's around the bend. It's not that. It's very, and I know what's around the bend. It's very like full of tone and stuff. It's just soft. That's how you approach it. So let's get into the run on alone. Okay, y'all, we've gotten through some runs now, and I know that you're probably thinking, this is hard. This is a little challenging. But you might be like, no, this is a breeze. These runs are so easy, which is great. But if you are struggling just a little bit to get through these runs, I would suggest you go to my website, skylarsmusicstudio.com, and check out my Sing with Ease, Bloom Your Voice in Any Genre course. So this online course was created to really hit all the fundamentals of singing, and I definitely touch on riffs and runs. And I go through certain exercises and warm-ups to help you really master the fundamentals so you can better hear and approach any run that you want to do. So go check that out on my site, and let's get back to Sing and Stand Up. Okay, at about 3:02, she has this alone run. So she does to face, to face. That's a big interval. So you just want to be ready for that. To face 'cause I'm alone. Da 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 da. To face 'cause I'm alone. It's very easy to speed through that and trip through that because it's so fast and so seamless, and she's not transitioning. She's really focusing on staying in that head voice, even though she's going down note-wise. At 3:10, she does a run on tried. Tried, da da da, but Lord knows I've tried. Little quick thing. So this last line got everybody, because everybody that I work with this song on, they were feeling like the line was getting harder. And it's actually the opposite. So the notes feel like they're going up. But if you listen to the track, you'll hear that what's actually going up pitch-wise are the background vocals and the music. She is staying consistent on a single note. So don't get tripped out by all the other things going on around it. You have to stay focused on that note. Sure stars fill up the sky. And then she goes up. Sure is higher than stars. Da, da, da. Sure stars fill up the sky. And then she goes up into that. So that's even higher, but it's kind of like pulled back. It's breeze, head voice. Just pointing that out because I found that to be a tricky part for some of my voice students. So let's get into the last few choruses with the modulations and the runs in these sections. Okay, y'all, so at 4:11, she has this beautiful, powerful line in the last modulation. So just know, after you come off of this bridge, she actually modulates to another key, like a half step higher, and then she modulates again, just like a half step, whole step, not that big of a deal. And then she modulates again to probably a third or fourth away from where she started. So it is in a very different place in your voice. So you have to think about where that is, like where you start. If you're a soprano or a singer like me, it might be kind of in your low register, might be kind of chesty, might be very comfortable. But as you get higher, depending on how comfortable you are with the high notes, it might feel like pressure, might feel like, you know, your voice is like giving out on you. You want to make sure that you are creating the space. You're really focused on approaching it in head voice and coming from above rather than before you might have been chest and maybe like pushing up into head voice. Now you're from above. You're focused on being in head voice and like trying to strengthen it by pushing it down. So the line is, together we are going. Okay, so you could first approach it in head voice. Together we are going. Okay, just focus on doing it in head voice. It sounded mad classical, but focus on doing that. And then I want you to use your body. If you need to like punch the air, I always think of this idea of like punching a punching bag, one of those small little punching bags. Together we are going. You have to energize, you have to activate your breath. So it's not a light situation anymore. It's a climax of the song. And how she's approaching it, you have to be in head voice because the notes are high. It's probably like above high C. It's very high. So that means she has to be in head voice placement because she has to be preparing for that note. Going. That is the climax of this note, but we're starting at 2, but we can't go together. We can't like sing it full chest. We have to blend it. We have to mix it. We have to come from a head voice. So instead of like chest on the together we are, I'm bringing that, lifting it as much as I can, but bringing the top note going down as much as I can. So I'm compressing it, if you can imagine that, and not like switching or flipping my voice, or, you know, it's consistent all the way through. Together we are going. The space is there. The head voice space is there. It doesn't hurt. Like it's just, I'm you know, just adding that umph to it, but the space is there to protect, you know, my chords. I'm not singing it with no preparation, and I'm using a lot of breath on it. The next one, To a Brand New Home, when you take that breath after going, you have to stay in head voice. You have to breathe in head voice breath, and you can't let up. To a brand new home. How she's singing it is very, very much more powerful, but it's up there, it's high. So, together we are going. To a brand new home. I'm trying to focus on that head voice. I'm not like letting up. I'm not letting my throat collapse on me. It's all about control. So just be mindful with every breath you take. You're preparing for what's coming. At 4:22, she has a run on calling. She does calling. So little thing there. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Calling. At 4:27, she has a run on. So she goes, gonna keep on keeping on, da, 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 on. And then she, you know, does her thing at the end. Pretty straightforward, but it's just challenging because it's really using all of your range. It's really a lot. The lows, the chest, you have to have the range to approach it in the same way that she does. But yeah, I hope this video was helpful. I wanted to do this for Black History Month, and I will see you guys in the next video. Y'all have an amazing week. Peace. Falling in spring, harvesting, God is here in my knowledge. I am